Hello, I am Brandon Gamez and I will be your presenter today. I am going to present to you my revival of the C Penney franchise. Now let's get into it. The story of C Penney. Now a familiar name, James Cash Penney. Although not the original founder of the store, he did find employment in 1899 at the original Golden Rule store. I love the original name. It's the basis of what the company's built off of. Customer first mentality, and it's just a great name. As early as 1960, Penny opened 120 stores nationwide. Now that is an impressive feat. 17 years at the company, and he was able to amass 120 stores. Now that's just impressive. The company focused on suburban shopping malls and expanded to more locations, aiming to reach the middle class market. Again, this is a real testament to the company's success on who its priority market was, the middle to lower income families. This is why the company was so successful early on. By 1971, the company amassed nearly 2,000 stores across the United States. Again, it's just a real testament to how great the company was in those early years and what it meant to the customers early on. And it was just a household name brand. A retail giant's fall from grace. It's no surprise what has happened to J.C. Penney recently with the immersion of competition like Walmart and Target, and let's not forget to mention the online retailers like Amazon. One of the things that they had trouble doing in the turn of the century was its inability to adapt and keep up with trends. Like the companies I mentioned earlier, they do a great job at understanding what the market wants, and they utilize online data to really figure out what consumers are looking for. Next, poorly executed pricing strategy. Their lackluster promotions, sales, and discounts was ultimately a self-inflicted wound, to put it nicely. Rather than it being an advantage for the company, it became a clear nuisance because there was an oversaturation of discounts and sales that it just didn't sit well with the customers. It pretty much condition the customers to shop at particular times and wait for particular sales rather than just coming in whenever they want and feel like they can get a deal right then and there. And lastly, the nail in the coffin, the acquisition of architect behind of Apple's widely successful retail stores and 15-year Target veteran, CEO Ron Johnson, who they appointed in 2011. Ron Johnson was the one to introduce the fair and square pricing strategy. His idea of tackling the complicated discounts and coupons that J.C. Penney had was to remove them completely. He had in favor of everyday flat and honest prices, which may have worked in the Apple industry because they were dealing with more expensive products. But that just doesn't work when you're working with a retail store like J.C. Penney. Completely eliminating discounts, it really confuses the customers, and it really creates this idea of they're not receiving the value that they used to. Another big issue that he caused was to build upon his new strategy, he needed to hire critical senior level positions. I shouldn't have said needed. In his head, he thought he needed to hire these individuals, but ultimately for him to bring in these new workers, he had to replace old ones, so he ended up terminating 19,000 employees. Essentially what that does is that takes a huge chunk of the company and throws it away. So this sudden implementation is very dangerous, because you're hoping that this new strategy just works out, and there's no possibility of returning to the old strategy in emergency, because you terminated all your employees, so there's no going back. His decisions ultimately cost a serious financial impact on the company, with store traffic declined by 10% and sales by 20%. Now, if you're in the business world, those are big numbers, big numbers. Now, here's my revival strategy. It's 4 main ideas broken up into 2 categories. We have leadership and brand identity, business model, and pricing. Let's get into it. Leadership and brand identity. Customers are no longer sure what the brand stands for. Referring back to the original store's name, the Golden Rule, its main focus was customers, to focus on customer satisfaction and what they want. Them feeling like they belong, them feeling that they can get a good deal. We want to bring that back. Serving middle income families again, and consistently promote value, quality, and reliability. Again, middle income families, they make up the majority of the country. So why not go back to focusing on them, making them want to come back into our stores, make them feel welcome, make them feel like they're going to get a good deal, and obviously just have a good experience. The company also needs to improve on decision making at the leadership level. Like I stated before, him eliminating 19,000 employees at the company was a rash decision. He needs to be able to introduce new ideas, test them in a small number, and see what the outcome is first. Then you can make big company-wide decisions. Business model and pricing. We need to return to the strategies that made it successful in the first place. Like I stated earlier, we need to go back to those original ideas, to what made the company successful. Like I said, in the early 1900s, when the brand was first starting out, James Cash Penney was able to open up hundreds of stores across the nation because of its focus on value and customer service. And that's what we need to prioritize once again. Second, utilizing hybrid pricing strategy would allow company to maintain discounts, promotion, while leveraging customer data to offer more personalized deals. Rather than just eliminating discounts and promotion altogether, we need to utilize it to leverage in our favor and make the customer think that they're getting value. Ultimately, they are, but not oversaturate the market like we did prior to Ron Johnson's appointment. Make it feel like they're really getting a deal. And we need to utilize online data to really understand what the consumers want. Other brands do a great job of reinventing themselves, really connecting to the customers, and that's what we need to do, because we're living in a new day and age where online shopping is very prominent. And that leads us to our next one: invest heavily in digital transformation to stay competitive in today's retail environment. Like I said, it's a very competitive market. Referring back to a brand like Amazon, they're really taking over the game. And for us to really compete with a brand like that, we really need to focus on digital technology, our e-commerce to elevate that experience, because customers want convenience. They like to shop while laying down in bed or sitting on the couch watching TV. If they see an ad of ours online, they're gonna immediately think, "Hey, let's see if I can shop at the comfort of my own bed, comfort of my own home, rather than, you know, pick myself up, get in my car, and drive to the physical store to purchase that item." And that's what we need to understand as a brand, is that, this is the new way of shopping, and we need to focus on this new way. Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. Have a good day.